Flapping your gums with Vinny and Hessey. Yeah!
All right, what's up, yo? Here we are, flapping your gums, Vinny and Hessey. Once again, I'm Hessey. This is
Vinny.
What up? So,
What up, yo?
Here it is. We're back for another one. Hey, I just want to say thank you, dear Jesus. Miracle. We're going to do a shout out for Swanson, a buddy on the fire department of mine. Went through some rough times. We won't go into details on it, but he got a ammonia. I think then it went into like a double lung ammonia, I think they call it.
Okay.
Because you can have one, and then it went into both, so I guess it wrecked him hard. He went in the hospital, was there for a couple days, and worsened. Put him on a ventilator. Then they had to move him from the local one here in Fallon Hospital to Reno. Went into cardiac arrest. Come to find out, he went flatlined, I guess they call it, twice. So basically, he died twice, is what I would pretty much say that is. The dude's like 30, mid-30s. But dude, glory to God, like he is home. And Tasha saw him. He was out walking around and like putzing around, messing with his Jeep like 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah. She wrote by.
Dude, I'd be milking that for everything it's worth, Swanson. I'd be like, oh, yeah, you guys want to bring food? Go ahead.
Babe, I'm going to need you to take care of me. Yeah. So he's probably stir crazy. But he says I've been texting him. He says he's weak. You know, his energy level, it goes quick.
Yeah.
So, because everything's kind of building up. And the EKG said his heart was, basically tired, I guess, when somebody's
dead.
Doing the compressions, beating your heart for you, and it must get tired. So, but I mean, that's a miracle, dude, and that's awesome. He had been stressed out there for a little bit, so thank you, dear Jesus. But yeah, so that's super cool. I'm glad about that. So so we're back here. I was telling you before we went on air here. So we have a new coach at our gym.
Okay.
And so this morning, one of our listeners was at the gym this morning, and she was saying that how we was talking to you. She's like, oh, I like watching them on YouTube, because I told them they wanted me to keep staying and do like this other workout. Like we had done I did back squats and then yoke holds, and they're like, oh, you should stay. I'm like, look, I got to get out of here. It's getting late. And because I thought originally we were going to do it earlier. And so I was like, no, I got to shoot a podcast. And John, he's one of the listeners too. He was like, oh yeah, dude, blah, blah. And then, so this new, Aaliyah is her name.
Do any of them say hi to Vinny for me, or like they just don't even like it's all about Hessey, or you know, like nobody's like. I mean,
hey,
it's
the same as it's probably the same.
Vinny, I said hi. No, nothing like that.
It's probably the same as what your guys at your gym say to you. They don't say tell.
Nobody at my gym listens.
Hi. No, well, you need to.
I don't have any friends. I got like two friends, coworkers. I got two coworkers, and all they do is call and complain about, dude, I can hear this high pitched squealing. You sound like crap, and Hessey sounds.
Well, at least they're
better.
listening, dude. Negative feedback. Any attention's good attention, I think.
This is low budget. Like, what do you expect from me, man? Come on,
dude. That's why we need those sponsors, some donations here. We need some people to donate.
Yeah, kick in some money, little Kev.
Kick in some.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to call you out.
Well, they don't know which one. There's a couple.
He does.
So that's true.
All right, sorry.
Shout out.
Squirrel.
So, butterfly. So she is. She's our new gym. We got a new coach. Okay. So we now have two new ones. But she's from Kansas, so she drove all the way up. Dude, she had quite the experience. So I'll let her tell it, because she's like, she even asked. She's like, hey, can I be on your podcast?
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, well, I don't know. I says that I will have to check and see the scheduling and see how many. No, I didn't say none of that.
Let me check the calendar and see when we can.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna have to see where. Yeah, like it's gonna be at least 6 months. It's gonna be 6 months unless we get a cancellation or something. But
shoot,
no. So she's super cool. She is a CrossFitter, and that's why she's here. So she's living in the tiny house, which we were talking about that, and I was telling her like that I was the one that did all the wiring. She's like, okay, I feel a lot safer than about that. And I was like, no, it's legit. Do it? Yeah, I'm like, it's legit. Like, it's been done. It's been done straight up. So, but she's like, she's got a pretty rad story. So I'll bring her on so she can tell it. But she's pushing for, like, she made like the, you know, it goes like the open. Yes. Then it goes quarterfinals, then it goes semifinals. Like, she made it through all that. So yeah,
she made it to the semifinals, and
she made it to she just missed like going to regionals or whatever it was at that time.
Oh, okay.
By like
we'll ask her about it. We'll ask her about it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. She just got here. She's only been here like 2 days, so she's cool.
She's already got here. Going to be on a podcast, become famous.
Yeah, she was like, she said she did it. She said she's like, oh man, I love it. Like, I tried to do a podcast. She goes, I just didn't stick with it. I didn't have time with the editing and like all that stuff. And I didn't mention you on that one. I was like, well, Vinny don't do shit.
Yeah.
I go, he just sits on there and talks, and then all the rest goes on to me.
Oh shit. I've asked you if you wanted me to do it, and you're like, I figured it out. I got it.
I feel like we might.
And I can log in. I can start doing it if you need, but it's gonna be ass. But
yeah, so let's not.
I'll do it. I mean, it'll take me a little bit to figure it out.
The time might come too, you know, because there could always be something we would do this, and then so it's just you're on backup.
Pass it over.
Piece of cake. Yeah.
Don't worry.
No but it ain't enough time. I ain't worried about it.
I can Google, but it's YouTube. Figure out how to do it.
Yeah, YouTube it up. YouTube on how to put myself on YouTube.
That's how I fix my cars. I gotta watch how to do fixing cars.
How do I go on? How do I put myself on YouTube?
I go to YouTube. It's called YouTube Dad. Hey, YouTube Dad. How do I?
Yeah, dude. So that'll be cool. So hopefully, you know, it works out. But I mean, I know we'll get her on there, and then so that's one of our upcoming guests, and then I should be. I'm gonna
talk to the power lifter.
It's gonna happen. Yeah, he's down. So that will be on the 20. We're gonna do that one the week of
Christmas.
So like in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That'll be in 2 weeks. It'll be after Christmas. It'll be after the Christmas episode. So for all the listener stuff, just look forward. We'll have him coming on. So we'll have this episode. It'll be like in 2 episodes from now. So that'd be cool. We'll get him on there. Dude, he's a freaking monster, bro. He was in there this morning and snatched like. For the listeners, just look up snatching, Olympic lifting, because that's what he's doing is Olympic lifting. But look up the snatch. Dude, he did like 200. I think he hit 230-pound snatch. He weighs like 160 pounds.
That hurts my back just thinking about it, dude.
Dude, he's strong. Yeah. So. Yeah. All right. Well, then I got some stuff going. I know you had some stuff from last week, but first I don't know if we want to hit the goose in the room, the duck in the blind. I don't know how you want to call it.
Not sure what you're talking about.
You shitting in a bucket?
No, we don't need to talk about that.
No, I didn't want to talk about that.
There's an emergency at work. It's fine. Gosh, dang.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to say anything about that either.
Not every UPS driver's in the city and has multiple options for bathrooms when you're miles and miles away from civilization.
So here, what we'll do is we'll open it up to the listeners.
That's it.
Too.
They know.
Yeah, email us, or give us a story because I know
emergency shit,
emergency poop scenarios. Like we can say poop. I feel like that's maybe more friendly.
Beep.
Yeah. It could be an emergency issue. Yeah, you know what I mean? Whatever. So if you have one, send us an email. flappingyourgums@yahoo.com because it doesn't have to be graphic or detailed. You can also
comment on YouTube.
Comment it on YouTube too, yeah. Or our Instagram, Flapping Your Gums.
Or just tell Hessey at the gym. You're fine.
Yeah,
that's where all of our listeners are anyway.
You can text me too. Jeez. Or if you need Vinny's number, you can send him some videos or something of it. What? Who? So yeah, because I want to, dude. There's always there's times like there's emergency times it happens. Like you got to do it. You got to do it, especially like for you. So I mean, it's dude. I've been on.
You
Rex.
drive home no matter where you're at.
No, mine are emergency. Like mine are pre-planned. Yeah, mine's all planned out.
I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm driving home. I'm like, aren't you working? And you're like, yeah, but I'm not going to the shop. And it's
I take my break.
Oh,
because the landscaper
is it your union break?
Using our bathroom. Yeah, exactly.
Take your union break and go home. Man,
some people like to read. Some people like to get on their phone for their breaks. I go home and use the restroom in my own clean private toilet. But because truckers are the same way, man. Like I've been on wrecks, like on I-80, like truck wrecks. Like big rigs, diesel trucks.
Yeah,
and it stinks like piss when you go in there on a wreck or something, because them dudes are just rolling along, just trucker stuff, just pissing in jugs.
Yeah.
So for the truckers that listen, if there are any, like
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, maybe when your next stop, just give her a dump out the door or something. You know what I mean? Because there is you don't want to get in a wreck because you're going to be wearing it.
Oh, man.
Because that truck, dude, I've been on trucks, they're tipped on their side, and the dude's stuck in there, and he's got piss all over him. So that's just this little, just in case, just a little thing to know, tidbit, in case you want to.
We are coming hot out of the gate in this episode.
You're welcome. Oh yeah, yeah.
Usually it's like, hey, how was your week? Oh, it was okay.
No, dude, we're moving on. It hasn't. Dude, I know there's nothing exciting this week. Nothing exciting this week. We're opening up with excitement. We're moving on. We're just getting into it. Yeah, because I mean, you had some stuff last week that we didn't get to. So let's knock that out. What you got on the top?
Oh, it was just like I was going to talk to you about your VR. Is it an Oculus? Is that what you've got? Is the Oculus?
I think so. Yeah, the media thing.
VR. You put the goggles on, you play video games, and it's like pretty cool.
Yeah, is it like a media Quest or something like that?
Yeah, Media
Oculus,
Quest.
So it's called.
I think it's an Oculus. Yeah. So
is that the brand of it?
Yeah, I believe so.
I do have one. Yeah.
When we were kids, like when we lived in California, so this was like 1990, 89, 90, 91, somewhere in there.
In the 1900s?
In the 1900s.
Oh, dude, when my daughter says that, I'm like, you gotta stop.
Dude, that's true. But I remember we used to go to the mall, and it was VR, you quote unquote, I'm doing quotes on YouTube. They
well,
had
you said it too, so you're okay. You audioed it too. You said quote unquote.
But you remember when I don't know if you remember. I mean, we were pretty young, but they had stuff set up in the middle of the mall, and you could pay money to do their VR. 10 minutes or whatever like that, and they had the VR stuff set up, and you're standing, and they had that all roped off, and people were walking around, and you could see what they were seeing on the TV. Dude, it was so ghetto. I mean, they were like, oh, VR is like the new thing, and you're jumping off of like a square, to another square, and like the triangle pieces, like there was no graphics at all, and the dude, like your hands were just like squares and triangles and stuff like that. Like it didn't have any type of form to it.
Yeah, it was all like beta robotic.
Dude,
all was like robotic stuff.
Yeah, it was 1980s Tron, but
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then you brought your Oculus that one Thanksgiving last year, not this year, but last year, and you had the single shooter game. Is that what they call it? A first person shooter game. And we were messing around with that at Mom and Dad's, and I put that on, and you're like, you got to duck and you got to move and you got to do all this. And when I took that thing off, I needed a motion sickness pill. It seriously, you take that thing off, and it messed with me pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then my son-in-law brought his over this last Thanksgiving, and there's a game on there called Acorn. So everybody in the room can join the game on their phone, and you're controlling like this little squirrel, and you got to get up to the tree and grab the acorn that's falling from the tree and bring it back to home base. But you in the goggles are the tree. So you're standing in the middle of the room, and you're reaching out, and you can either grab the squirrel that they are, and you can throw them, or you throw these little, I don't know what they are, but they're just little round balls. You can throw them at the squirrel. You can throw like sap stuff to slow them down. It doesn't look like that at all. I'm not even sure. Oh. Yeah, no, they're just round. It's like round.
Okay.
I don't even know.
I just figured like with a squirrel, maybe nuts.
Well, but the squirrel's trying to get the acorn nuts off the ground, so like the tree drops them. But anyway, so you're standing in the middle of the room, and it is pretty intense. Like, I'm looking at the graphics on this thing are the exact same graphics you're seeing on your phone. I mean, there's a little bit of, sharp edges to it and whatnot, but I'm thinking, man, dude, like in, what is that, 20, 30 years? 30 years? 20?
30 years probably, give or take, 20-something years.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm surprised that it hasn't. I mean, you see the PlayStation, when the PlayStation came out, when you had the Nintendo, then you went to Nintendo 64, and, Wii. Like, the graphics on the PlayStation have outdone as much. I mean, when you're playing Madden, it looks like you're playing football, pretty much. I mean, the graphics are so cool. But I'm kind of surprised that the VR has taken that long to get to that point.
Well, I think correct. I think also you're looking at a console that they can put all that stuff in, and it's just all the graphics are on a screen.
That's true. Okay.
And it doesn't move unless you hit it with a controller. Right?
Okay. Right.
So a VR has to take and has to have little gyros and stuff inside of it so that when your head moves, it moves with you. You know what I mean? Because like when you look down, that thing has to know that your head is going down and that whatever sensors are in there move down. So there's when you first got into it, did you guys have to do the barrier? Like you go through and make a cage?
Oh yeah, he made the barrier.
Yourself? Yeah, and it makes you go down and put the remotes on the floor.
And I didn't pay attention. I didn't see him.
So like mine, it's probably the same. I don't know what version it has, but like on mine, you run it down. It makes you put your, so that way it knows your height. It knows where the floor is at. So that way it sets all the graphics to that. So, but you're talking and it's smaller. I mean, look how that thing sitting on your head is, not very big.
Right.
So of course, I mean, yeah, the advancements in technology have exceeded far what. But it's also, so I think that has to do with it. It's got little cameras all over it, and that's how it sees the room.